Morning, friends, and welcome to PB Reads the Bible. We're working on Genesis, and this is we read Genesis a chapter or so a day. Today is day 5, and we're going to be looking at chapter 6. We're going to be looking at chapter 6 today. It is Friday, at least for you it is. For me, it's still Thursday. I am doing this recording because Friday is my Sabbath day. But I did want to get a recording done so that you guys can at least do this on your own. But it should be Friday at 9 o'clock, assuming I did everything correctly. And we won't be having anything tomorrow. Our next one will be on Sunday between worship services. Got the 8:15 and the 10:45, so I'm going to be in here between the two. So it'll be 9:15 ish. Might be a little closer to 9:30, depending on how many people want to talk to me after worship and how many people want prayer, because we just started something but immediately following worship where we have one-on-one prayer taking place. So because of those things, might be a little bit closer to 9:30 by the time I get here. Sorry about the this glare on the backdrop. And no, it's not because I'm bald, Ronnie. Knock it off. Not exactly sure what's taken place, other than the fact that it's a plastic screen that I'm using. Just plastic, actually plastic tablecloth. Um, I get paid today, so I might be ordering a more real one on Amazon. I think I found a couple things there. Found a couple for about $50, and found a real nice one, but I think that's 150. So I don't know. We got to see what we're gonna do. How much money I've got available this week. Anyway, friends, I'm Brian. I'm the pastor at Christ Giant Methodist Church in Waynesboro, and this is PB Reads the Bible, Genesis, a chapter or so a day. This is day 5. We're on chapter 6 because I read 2 chapters yesterday. A couple things to keep in mind. This is the beginning of the the story with Noah. And this is the setup. This is the why to the whole thing. This is the why to the whole thing. And remember, it's story. Let's not read things quite so literally. All right. Try to put that out of your head, your images and everything that you've got from having read the story in the past. All right. When the people began to multiply on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw the beautiful women and took any they wanted as their wives. Pause. Sons of God, presumably some sort of divine beings, divine creatures, angels of some form of messenger. But they saw beautiful women and they took them. Then Hashem said, my spirit will not put up with humans for such a long time, for they are only mortal flesh. In the future, their normal lifespan will be no more than 120 years. Pause. That ties into chapter 5 and what I was saying, how the the years of a person's life trended downwards the further we get away from spiritual paradise, from spiritual Eden, further we get away from God. Now God is saying it's going to be 120 years. It's going to be 120 years. No more than 120 years. In those days, and for some time after, giant Nephilites lived on the earth. For whenever the sons of God had intercourse with women, they gave birth to children who became the heroes and famous warriors of ancient times. Pause. So it's trying to explain, or it's adding to the folklore of these tremendous heroes of the past, that they were human but not quite human. They're mixed breeding between human and presumably angels or some form of divine being. And it's a way of explaining, and perhaps they encountered some people who were much taller and stronger than typically they were, different appearance in skin, even people traveling from Africa, and they needed to point out, why is there a difference with these people, and stuff like that. So, well, they're descendants of these folks. Okay, so it's helping to explain the differences and things, which these are stories about whys, trying to explain things that otherwise are inexplicable. Hashem observed the extent of human wickedness on the earth, and he saw that everything they thought or imagined was consistently and totally evil. So Hashem was sorry he had ever made them and put them on the earth. It broke his heart. And Hashem said, I will wipe this human race I have created from the face of the earth. Yes, I will destroy every living thing, all the people, the large animals, the small animals that scurry along the ground, and even the birds of the sky. I am sorry I ever made them. But Noah found favor with Hashem. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, the only blameless person living on earth at the time, and he walked in close fellowship with God. Noah was the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now God saw that the earth had become corrupt and was filled with violence. God observed all this corruption in the world, for everyone on earth was corrupt. So God said to Noah, I decided to destroy all living creatures, for they have filled the earth with violence. Yes, I will wipe them all out along with the earth. Pause. Should emphasize here, probably should have said this earlier. Just a reminder back to day 1, chapter 1. Their concept of earth is much more restricted than our understanding of earth is. Okay, so it's not this global thing that we know, because their idea is flat earth with a fixed dome in the sky. Okay, so earth, the whole earth, is a much smaller thing. So rather than think about a flood, because I know that you're already going there, and which we'll get to in the next couple chapters more fully, that covers the whole earth. This is more of a regional flooding, if at all. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't happen in some way, and they're probably trying to explain a terrible flood that probably occurred in the Middle Eastern area, because there is the story of Gilgamesh experiencing this terrible flood, and he too thought it was worldwide, and he was the only one left with some animals in his family. You look the story up. You'll see there's some interesting parallels to it. It's this myth that was taking place. Of course, the one here in the scriptures has the theology built into it to try to explain the why rather than just the act. And it's explaining that we're so bad, God decided to destroy the earth. But we'll get to some other points about it too when we get further along. But build a large boat from cypress wood and waterproof it with tar inside and out. Then construct decks and stalls throughout its interior. Make the boat 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. Leave an 18-inch opening below the roof all the way around the boat. Put the door on the side and build 3 decks inside the boat, lower, middle, and upper. Look, I am about to cover the earth with a flood that will destroy every living thing that breathes. Everything on earth will die. But I will confirm my covenant with you. So enter the boat, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring a pair of every kind of animal, a male and a female, into the boat with you to keep them alive during the flood. Pairs of every kind of bird and every kind of animal and every kind of small animal that scurries along the ground will come to you and be kept alive. And be sure to take on board enough food for your family and for all the animals. So Noah did exactly as God had commanded him. End of chapter. This is a short chapter today, folks. It's a short chapter today. Oops. Sorry about that. Maybe I could do 2 chapters. No, we're not going to do that. So just those reminders for you. When it says whole earth, their understanding of earth versus ours. when we look at the science and when we look at archaeology and all those kind of studies, there's no evidence of a total global flood. Many regions have had devastating floods for various reasons over the years. So this story is presumably there was a flood in their history. Perhaps they found evidence and all this kind of stuff and all these dead animals. Who knows how? And the story was told and passed down about this terrible flood that wiped out everything. Um, and so this is explaining why, but it's also explaining why life continues. Okay, why life continues. And so God is. What is Hashem doing in this? We tend to think about the devastation, the destruction, that God is so upset with humanity that God is going to wipe out everything. But God doesn't quite wipe out everything. God is providing a remnant. It's an important concept in Judaic theology, the idea of a remnant being saved, being continued. And so God is providing a remnant that Hashem is protecting and allowing things to continue. So, I mean, if God was that upset, as the story says, if as the story says, God is so upset with humanity, why didn't God just completely wipe out everything? But no, God provides a remnant, giving humanity another chance a chance to start over and perhaps do better. So maybe God isn't quite as upset about humanity as we might have thought. Okay, that's it for today. Yeah, sorry, it's a small one. However, when I do these pre-recordings, I have to keep them a little bit shorter, otherwise the file gets too big. We can't post it and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, this one is going to work for me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to re-record it. So I will see you Sunday morning, either at worship at 8:15 or 10:45, or here for our Bible study at 9:15 ish, or both, or both. That's it for today, my friends. As you go about your days, please keep your eyes and ears, spiritual eyes and ears, open for all that God is doing in your life and in the life of those around you. When you see it, say, "Thanks, God," and then tell us about it, especially me. I need to hear those things myself. Be